This guide's going to run through how to get the Fallen Charger. This is a 10% drop chance mount from the Fallen Charger rare, and this rare is quite difficult to go after because it's going to have a long respawn timer and multiple respawn points as well. Now before you get started with this, I would recommend you've progressed through the Maw and got rid of some of the kind of more annoying things like the Eye of the Jailer. It just makes life a bit easier and helps you get in through the various different zones a bit easier as well. So let's talk about how this rare works. So it's going to spawn up to about 12 to 14 hours after it was last killed, so you're going to be waiting a very long time for a respawn if you've just missed one. However, there is an additional condition to this. It will run through the entire zone, and if it isn't killed once it hits the end point, then it will despawn, and if it despawns, it will respawn exactly 1 hour later. You'll know that it's despawned because the Fallen Charger will do an announcement in the chat saying the Fallen Charger releases a final mournful whine as it fades away. So once that happens, you know it's going to respawn within an hour, well, pretty much exactly an hour, so you'll have a good idea of when to be available for when it's going to respawn again. If that doesn't happen though and it's killed, then you are going to be waiting up to 14 hours for another respawn, so you're gonna have to be sat in a spot for quite a long time. Now I did also mention it has multiple spawn points. This changes a little bit based on the current Maw assault that's taking place, but the main thing you need to know is it can spawn in the Tramaculum, in the Crucible of the Damned, and in Perdition Hold. Once it does spawn, you'll know because there'll be a message in chat saying an ear-splitting whine echoes across the Maw as the Fallen Charger begins its ride. Once this happens, depending on where it spawned, it's going to follow a route basically around the either left side or right side of the zone, and it's going to keep going until it basically reaches Korthia. Once it gets there, it will do the despawn that I mentioned earlier, and then it will have that 1 hour respawn. So in that period, you've got to find it and kill it before anyone else gets to it as well, because level 70 or and above, people are going to be killing it pretty quickly, which is not going to give you much time to reach it. Now the fight itself, as I said, is fairly trivial. As a level 70 character, you'll kill and solo this no problem. If you want to be a bro when you find it, you can tag it and then do a little announcement in chat and give people a few minutes to get there before you do kill it, as once it's in combat it should stick around for a while. Now a lot of people talk about it changing its spawn locations based on the current Maw assault, and for the most part I was camping this for a good few days and found that it spawned in mostly the same places, so I'm going to give my recommendation on how I ended up getting this mount. What I would do is I had two items available. First of all, the item that allows you to teleport to Venari's Refuge. This is great if it spawns on the opposite side of the map and you just have no way of getting there quickly. You can teleport to Venari's Refuge and then run from there, and you should be able to cut it off as it's running around, assuming no one else beats you to it. And then what I did also was sat in the Tramaculum, and I would sit at the very top with a Goblin Glider. This was great for me because it allowed me to get both of the spawn points in the Tramaculum, whether it goes left or right. I was able to just jump off and glider down to it very quickly, get a tag and go from there. Or if it spawned in the Crucible of the Damned, what I would do is glider across kind of south down the zone towards the bridge, and then I'd be able to cut it off there. If I didn't find it there, then I could then teleport to Venari's Refuge and try and cut it off from its Perdition Hold path. So this gave me a lot of options and a lot of utility to basically be able to cover all of the various different spawn locations, and this ended up being quite successful. Honestly, most of the spawn times were in the Tramaculum anyway, so I didn't really have to do some kind of mad dash across the zone, but if that does happen, and it did happen, then I would be able to kind of cut it off most of the time. It didn't work 100% of the time, but considering you kind of have all the odds against you, I felt like this was the better approach. And that about sums it up. It's going to be a very frustrating rare to go after just because of the extremely long respawn timer, the multiple respawn points, the fact that it dies very quickly if anyone else gets their hands on it, and the fact that it's just going to run and you're not exactly quite sure where it is. And if this guide was helpful, definitely check out the link in the description below to go to True Endgame's Mount Collector tool. You'll go on there, you'll put in your character, and you'll be able to see all the mounts you own and do not own. You can look at the mounts you don't own, and you'll be able to get a guide that's written and sometimes a video guide to go along with it to help you on your mount farming journey. Outside of that, look out for more guides coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.